Recording the scope of work in a doctor's appraisal. This video expands on the meaning and importance of recording the scope of work for a doctor's appraisal. From http://www.rcgp.org.uk/revalidation. The GMC describe scope of work. This will include the organizations and locations where you have undertaken work as a doctor. You will also need to provide a comprehensive description of the scope and nature of your practice. GMC 2012b, P3. The AOMRC 2014 recommend that the doctor should record the scope and nature of all of their professional work carried out to ensure that the appraiser and the responsible officer understand the doctor's work and practice. This should include all roles and positions for which a license to practice is required, and should include work for voluntary organizations, work in private or independent practice, and managerial, educational, research and academic roles. Types of work may be categorized into LL clinical commitments, LL educational roles, including academic and research, LL managerial and leadership roles, LL any other roles. Although the supporting information brought to appraisal for revalidation should cover the whole scope of a doctor's practice, this coverage does not have to take place every year of the 5-year cycle. It is permissible for a doctor to concentrate on specific areas of practice each year, and then to discuss with their appraiser how and when the remaining areas will be covered during the 5-year cycle. As a doctor, you need to clarify your scope of work, because you are required to provide supporting information to demonstrate the quality of your work against the standards in good medical practice, GMC 2013, for the scope of work that you actually do, not what you historically qualified for. Any separate role which requires a license to practice, paid or unpaid, for a different organization, employer, or as an individual, needs to be included so that the responsible officer, RO, knows where to seek assurance that you are fit to practice. It is best practice to include the contact details, where applicable, for each organization or employer, to facilitate the transfer of information to the RO, and to be aware of the clinical governance arrangements in place. The RO may request confirmation, from each part of your scope of work outside the designated body, that there are no outstanding clinical governance issues, concerns or investigations, or request an up-to-date status report on any progress made, before making your revalidation recommendation. In those circumstances where you have had a separate internal in-post review or appraisal for a specific part of your scope of work, it is normal to include the outputs from this review, and your reflection on those, where appropriate, as additional supporting information, in your main annual medical appraisal for revalidation. Where you have several different responsibilities within the same part of your scope of work, such as the various lead responsibilities that a GP partner might take on for the practice, it is appropriate and reasonable to reflect on these elements of your job description with your appraiser, but they do not need to be declared as separate scopes of work. They do not require separate supporting information or clinical governance review, because they are not provided for a different organization or independently. Over the 5-year revalidation cycle, you do need to reflect on how you keep up to date, review what you do and what feedback you have had, as well as declaring all GMC-level significant events and complaints for every post that forms a separate part of your scope of work. From http://www.rcgp.org.uk/revalidation-tilde/media/files/revalidation-cpd/2016/rcgp-guide-to-supporting-information-2016. For further information and support for a doctor appraisal, please visit Medical Appraisals, http://medicalappraisals.org.uk.